People say time heals everything, but they never tell you that time also buries things, truths, memories, secrets. And those secrets don't disappear. They wait. They hide. And sometimes, they return when you are old enough to face them. My name is Evelyn Hart, and for 37 years, I believed my mother walked out on me. That was the story my father told. That was the story everyone accepted. But stories have a way of collapsing when even one lie slips through the cracks. Mine began to crumble on a quiet Sunday morning. I was cleaning out my father's study after his passing, dusting old shelves, boxing forgotten papers, when I found a loose floorboard beneath the desk. It creaked strangely when I stepped on it, just enough to catch my attention. I knelt, pried it open, and found a small metal box hidden underneath. Inside was a diary. My mother's diary. I froze. Her handwriting curled across the old, yellowed pages, soft, gentle loops, familiar in a way that made my throat tighten. I hadn't seen it since I was 10 years old. My hands shook as I opened the first page. If anything happens to me, Evelyn, don't believe what they tell you. My blood ran cold. What did she mean? Anything like what? I flipped ahead. Some entries were mundane, her talking about my school, my favorite foods, little sketches of flowers. But then the tone shifted. Someone is watching me. Someone I know. Another page. He warned me not to investigate. But how can I stop? I think I've uncovered something dangerous. I felt a sharp pressure in my chest. Who was watching her? Who warned her? And what had she uncovered? I turned another page, one dated only 3 days before she disappeared. If something happens to me, Evelyn, follow the initials AR. He knows everything. He was the last person to see me. AR. Someone who knew the truth. Someone who was with her the day she vanished. My breath caught when something slipped out from between the pages. A small photograph. A picture of my mother standing near the old train station in our hometown, but there was someone blurred in the background. Someone tall. Watching her. A chill ran down my spine. I looked again. That silhouette, why did it look familiar? Before I could think further, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Stop reading that diary. My blood froze. No one knew I found it. No one. Yet someone was watching me, just like they watched my mother. Rehook. And as I stood in that silent room, diary trembling in my hands, I realized something terrifying. My mother didn't leave me. She was taken from me. And the person involved was still watching. I stared at the text message until the screen dimmed in my hand. Stop reading that diary. My pulse hammered in my ears. How could anyone know what I was doing inside a locked study? The house was empty. The windows were closed. The curtains drawn. There was no way someone could have seen me, unless they had been watching me long before today. A shiver crept down my spine. I flipped the diary shut and shoved the metal box into my bag. Whatever danger my mother faced, I was now walking straight into it. I needed answers. And there was only one clue to start with: AR. Someone who knew everything. Someone who was the last person to see her. I searched my memory. Neighbors? Friends? Co-workers? Nothing came to mind. But then I remembered something, a name my father used to mention in tense whispers when they thought I wasn't listening. A man he argued with late at night on the phone. A man who disappeared from our town around the same time my mother did. Arthur Rowe, initials, AR. I wasn't sure if it was coincidence or fate, but I had nothing else to go on. I checked the old address book on my father's bookshelf. And there it was, written in faded ink. Arthur Row, 19 Willow Lane. My heart nearly stopped. That house had been empty for years. Windows boarded. Yard overgrown. People said its owner left in a hurry. Some said the police questioned him. Some said he vanished without a trace. I hadn't been down Willow Lane since childhood. But if he truly was the last person to see my mother, I needed to go. Before leaving, I slipped the diary into my coat and headed to the front door. But when I opened it, something made my breath catch. A single envelope lay on the porch. No stamps. No markings. Just my name written in sharp, crooked handwriting. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a note. Evelyn. Don't look for him. He's not who you think he is. And neither was your father. My lungs tightened. Not who I think he is. What was that supposed to mean? Before I could process anything, I noticed something else inside the envelope. A key. Old. Rusted. Attached to a tag that read, "She left this for you." A tremor ran through me. What she? My mother? Had someone been holding onto her belongings all this time? Someone who knew she wasn't missing by choice? I needed answers more than ever. So I grabbed my keys, locked the door behind me, and started the car. I was going to Willow Lane. But halfway there, as I turned onto the old road leading out of town, a pair of headlights suddenly appeared in my rearview mirror, bright, close. Too close. I pressed the accelerator. The car behind me sped up too. A chill swept through me. I was being followed. Rehook. And just before I reached Willow Lane, the car behind me flashed its lights. A warning, because the person inside wanted me to know. I was driving straight into a truth someone would kill to hide. The car behind me stayed close, too close, as I turned onto the cracked, narrow road of Willow Lane. The place felt frozen in time. Trees bent over the pavement, casting long shadows that looked like reaching hands. My heart thudded louder with every passing second. When I finally pulled up to the abandoned house at 19 Willow Lane, the other car slowed, then quietly turned around and disappeared down the road. Not an attack, not an accident, a warning, but by now, I was done running. The house looked worse than I remembered. Windows boarded, roof slanted, vines crawling up the siding like nature was trying to swallow the building whole. Yet something about it felt purposeful. As if time hadn't claimed it completely because someone didn't want it forgotten. I stepped closer. The front door hung slightly open. Someone had been inside recently. I hesitated, the rusted key still in my hand. The tag, "Is she left this for you?" Was this key meant for this house? Or for something inside it? I pushed the door open. Dust swirled in the air. The floor creaked under my weight. The smell of old wood and dampness filled my lungs. Yet beneath the decay was something else, faint traces of perfume. Floral. Soft. My mother's perfume. My breath caught. She had been here. Maybe not recently, but at some point. I walked deeper, past peeling wallpaper and broken furniture. It wasn't her style. But I knew exactly whose handwriting it was. I had seen it earlier today. On the envelope left on my porch. The same sharp, crooked letters. It wasn't Arthur Row. It wasn't a stranger. It was someone who had been close enough to me to leave things right at my door. My father. My stomach twisted. Why would my father leave a tape for me here, In AR's abandoned house? Why did he hide my mother's diary? Why did he lie about everything? My fingers trembled as I pressed the play button. A crackle of static. Then a calm, haunting voice filled the room. Evelyn, if you're hearing this, I couldn't keep the truth hidden any longer. It was my father's voice. Rehook. But the next words he spoke shattered the world I thought I knew, because he didn't start by telling me where my mother went. He started by confessing what he had done. The tape crackled again before my father's voice grew clearer, steadier. Hearing him speak, after all these years, after all the lies, sent a cold rush through me. I gripped the recorder tightly, bracing myself. Evelyn, he said, if you're listening to this, then you've found Arthur's house. And that means I've failed to keep you away from the truth. My breath hitched. Failed? Failed to keep me away? He continued. Your mother wasn't the woman you think she was. And neither was I. The room suddenly felt smaller, the air heavier. Your mother discovered something she shouldn't have. Something connected to the syndicate I worked for. My heart slammed against my ribs. A syndicate? My father? He sighed on the tape, a long, broken sound. I wasn't a criminal, Evelyn. Not at first. I was an accountant. A good one. And they used that. Your mother found my ledgers, records of money moving through channels it shouldn't have. Illegal channels. My mother had discovered proof. Evidence. And that's why she disappeared. She confronted me, he said quietly. She begged me to stop. To run away with her and protect you. But I couldn't. I was already too deep. My chest tightened painfully. The truth was unfolding faster than I could breathe. The night she vanished. He paused, voice trembling. I didn't harm her. I would never. But someone else came to the house, someone who worked for the syndicate. Someone I trusted. My pulse quickened. Someone he trusted? His name was Arthur Rowe. I staggered backward. Arthur Rowe, the man I came here to find, the man my mother pointed me toward, was the one my father trusted? I thought Arthur could protect her, my father said. I thought he would hide her until I found a way out. A chill ran through me. Hide her? Protect her? So she wasn't running from Arthur. She was running with him. But I was wrong. Those 4 words cracked something inside me. Arthur betrayed us. He planned to use your mother's discovery to blackmail the syndicate. He took her with him, told me he was keeping her safe. I believed him. I covered my mouth, tears burning my eyes. By the time I realized what he truly wanted, she was already gone static buzzed for a moment. Then my father's voice softened, breaking. I spent the rest of my life trying to find her, Evelyn. And trying to keep you safe from Arthur. He's not watching you because you're close to the truth. He's watching you because you're the last piece of leverage he has left. My knees weakened. Arthur Rowe wasn't just a witness. He was the reason my mother disappeared. If you want to find her, and my father whispered, you need to go where it all started. The place she feared most. The old train station. The tape clicked off. Silence swallowed the room. The train station, the same place where the photograph of my mother had been taken. The same place where the blurred figure watched her. But before I could move, a floorboard creaked behind me. Slow. Deliberate. I turned. A shadow stood in the doorway. Not Arthur Rowe, someone else. Rehook. And when the figure stepped into the light, I realized with a jolt of terror. They were holding my mother's locket. The figure stepped into the dim light of the room, and my breath caught in my throat. It wasn't Arthur Rowe. It wasn't the keeper. It wasn't anyone I expected. It was a woman. Grey hair pulled back. Eyes full of sorrow and urgency. And in her hand, my mother's gold locket. My voice trembled. Who are you? She held up the locket gently, as if afraid it might shatter. I'm someone who should have come to you years ago, she whispered. My name is Marion. The name meant nothing to me, until she stepped closer and I saw her face clearly. I had seen that face before. In old photos. In corners of my memory. Beside my mother. My breath hitched. You were her friend. She nodded, tears filling her eyes. I was more than that, Evelyn. I was the one who tried to save her. My knees weakened. Save her? She motioned for me to sit. I didn't. I don't have time, she said urgently. Arthur is back in town. And he's looking for you. A wave of cold washed over me. Why? I whispered. Because you have something he wants, she said. The diary. The key. The truth your mother died trying to expose. My heart clenched. Died? I echoed, barely able to breathe. Marion's eyes softened painfully. I'm so sorry, Evelyn. Your mother didn't survive her attempt to escape him. Arthur used her to threaten your father, and when your father refused to cooperate, Arthur made sure she never came back. Tears spilled down my cheeks. All these years, I had hoped she was alive. Somewhere. Hiding. Waiting. But she was gone. Marion stepped closer, placing the locket in my hand. She told me to give this to you when it was safe. But it was never safe. Not until now. I opened the locket with trembling fingers. Inside was a tiny folded note, so fragile it nearly crumbled. Evelyn. Don't fear the truth. It is the only way to be free. Mom. My chest shook with silent sobs. Marion touched my arm gently. There's more, she whispered. Your mother left evidence. Proof of the syndicate. Proof of Arthur's crimes. She hid it somewhere only you could find. Where? I whispered. She met my eyes with a look that made my heart stop. The old train station, she said. It's where she tried to run. It's where it ended. And it's where everything you need is still waiting. The same place my father told me to go. The same place where the picture was taken. The same place where the shadowy figure watched her. A cold realization hit me. I have to go there, I whispered. Marion grabbed my hand. You won't be alone. I'll help you. It's finally time to finish what your mother started. Before we left the abandoned house, I glanced back at the table, at the tape recorder, at the empty shadows. For the first time in years, I felt something other than fear. I felt purpose. We stepped out into the night together, toward the train station, toward the truth, toward whatever waited in the darkness. Ending Rehook. And as the wind howled through the broken rails and the old station came into view, I felt it. The sense that my mother's story wasn't ending there at all. It was just beginning through me.